The city of Zarnex was unlike anything humans had seen before. Towering metallic spires touched the clouds, and lights of every color danced across the sky like stars that had fallen to the ground. Hovercars zipped between buildings, leaving streaks of bright blue behind them. Alien creatures of all shapes walked the streets, some tall as trees, some small but fast, each carrying a sense of authority. It was a world where humans were rare and many beings looked down on them. In the middle of this bustling city, a young human named Rian walked carefully. He was small, barely 5 feet tall, with messy brown hair and bright green eyes that seemed to notice everything around him. People often underestimated him. Many aliens laughed at how small and fragile he looked. But Rian had something they did not: determination. Rian had been sent to Zarnex by the Galactic Alliance. His mission was unusual. He was assigned as a bodyguard to Tala, a young alien princess. Tala was from the planet Kirin, known for its fierce warriors. She had bright violet skin and hair that shimmered like silver, and she carried herself with the pride of someone who had never faced failure. Rian had met her only once before, and the memory made him nervous. "You're too small to be my bodyguard, human," Tala had said on that first meeting, her tone sharp and filled with amusement. Her laughter had echoed through the grand hall of her palace, making Rian shrink slightly in embarrassment. He had tried to explain that humans were clever and quick, but Tala had waved her hand dismissively. Now, walking through Zarnex's crowded market, Rian wondered if he could prove her wrong. He adjusted the strap of his bag, which held his only weapons, a compact energy shield and a small plasma baton. Not much, but enough if he used them wisely. Rian had trained for years to be ready for this moment, though nobody in the galaxy truly expected humans to survive against alien threats. Tala, meanwhile, was nowhere in sight. She had decided to explore the city on her own, as she often did. Rian's instructions were clear: keep her safe even if she refused help. But following her through the chaotic streets was harder than he imagined. Vendors shouted prices in alien languages, creatures argued over glowing trinkets, and a group of giant winged aliens flew above, casting enormous shadows over the crowd. Suddenly, a commotion erupted near a tall stall selling crystal spheres. A large creature twice the size of Rian was pushing through the crowd, its eyes scanning for something or someone. People screamed and scattered. Rian's instincts kicked in. He moved closer, keeping low and quiet, trying to see what was happening. Through the chaos, he caught sight of Tala. She was standing on a raised platform, looking unbothered, her silver hair catching the sunlight. The large creature was moving toward her. Rian's heart raced. Most humans would freeze, but he didn't. He clenched his fists, gripping the energy shield tightly. The creature's foot slammed on the ground, sending a tremor through the platform. Tala looked down at the approaching threat and raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. She did not shout for help. She expected someone, maybe Rian, to act. Rian ran forward, weaving through the crowd. Despite being small, his speed and agility allowed him to dodge falling stalls and startled creatures. He positioned himself between Tala and the giant alien, holding his shield up just in time as the creature swung a massive arm. Sparks flew and a few crystal spheres shattered, scattering like diamonds on the ground. Tala's eyes widened slightly, not from fear, but from interest. She had expected a human to be useless, but Rian was different. Quick, careful, and precise. He moved again, striking the creature's leg with his baton, forcing it to stumble slightly. The alien roared, more surprised than hurt. "You may be small, human," Tala said quietly, a smile forming on her lips, "but you are not useless." Rian felt a surge of pride. This was only the beginning, he knew. Zarnex was dangerous, full of creatures that did not care about humans. But with Tala's life in his hands, he had no choice but to rise to the challenge. After the encounter in the market, Rian knew he had to stay alert. Tala walked beside him now, her expression calm but her eyes scanning the streets as if expecting danger at every corner. The crowd had begun to settle, and the strange alien market continued its hum of activity, but Rian could feel tension in the air. Zarnex was not a safe city, even for someone as skilled as Tala, and he could not afford to be careless. "Tala, we need to move carefully," Rian said, keeping his voice low. "There are many eyes here, and not all of them are friendly." She looked at him, her violet skin glowing softly under the city lights. "I know, human," she said, almost teasingly, "but I do not fear most creatures." "Can you keep up?" Rian smiled slightly. I've never let anyone down yet. Tala raised an eyebrow but said nothing. She was testing him, Ryan realized, trying to see if he truly had the courage and skill to protect her. They turned into a narrow alley, away from the main streets. The walls were lined with glowing panels and strange graffiti, some in languages Ryan had never seen. Tiny drones floated above them, humming softly as they recorded the alley for security. Tala walked confidently, her every movement graceful and controlled, while Ryan stayed just behind her, alert for any signs of trouble. Suddenly, a shadow moved across the wall, too fast to be human. Ryan's heart skipped a beat, but he did not panic. He signaled Tala to stop, holding his hand up. She stopped without hesitation, following his lead. A small group of strange creatures emerged from the shadows. They were thin, with long limbs and glowing eyes that reflected the alley's lights. They did not speak, but their intentions were clear. They were here to capture or harm Tala. Ryan stepped forward, holding his energy shield in front of him. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Tala's eyes sparkled with interest. "You truly are brave, human," she said. "Do not fail me now." The creatures lunged. Ryan moved quickly, using his shield to block their attacks. His baton flickered with plasma energy as he pushed one of the creatures back. Even though he was small, he was fast and smart, dodging strikes and creating openings with precision. Tala, watching him closely, noticed something important. He wasn't relying on strength. He was relying on thinking, speed, and timing. In a way, he was proving something she had not expected, that humans were clever, resourceful, and capable of more than they appeared. One of the creatures tried to circle around him, but Ryan anticipated the move. He rolled to the side, catching the creature off guard with a swift strike that sent it stumbling into a wall. Sparks flew from the impact, and the other creatures hesitated, surprised at how effective a small human could be. Tala stepped forward suddenly, her presence commanding. She raised her hand and a low hum of energy filled the alley. A soft barrier formed around her, a defensive field that shimmered like glass. The creatures hissed and recoiled, unable to approach her. Ryan took the opportunity to move closer to her side. "We need to get out of here," he said, his voice steady despite the danger. "They will regroup soon," Tala nodded. "I will follow your lead, human. Show me what you can do next." Together they moved through the alley carefully and strategically, avoiding the creatures that still lingered nearby. Ryan guided Tala through hidden passages he noticed in the architecture, small spaces that could keep them out of sight. He felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Each step was a test, each moment a challenge to prove himself. By the time they emerged onto another street, the sun had begun to dip behind the towering spires of Zarnex. The city's lights flickered on, painting the streets in gold and purple. Ryan glanced at Tala. She looked at him differently now, her usual pride softened with respect. "You are more capable than I thought," she said quietly. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as many believe." Ryan allowed himself a small smile. He had earned a small victory today, but he knew the city held far greater dangers. This was only the beginning, and he was ready to face whatever came next. As night fell over Zarnex, the city transformed. Neon lights reflected off the metal streets, casting long, colorful shadows. The hum of hover cars slowed in some areas, but the danger did not disappear. For creatures like Tala and humans like Ryan, the city was still full of surprises. Ryan and Tala had found temporary shelter in a small, quiet building tucked between two enormous towers. Inside, it was dim but safe, with walls of smooth metal and soft blue lights embedded along the edges. Ryan set his shield down carefully, his hands still trembling slightly from the encounter in the alley. "You handled yourself well," Tala said, sitting on a raised platform that served as a chair. Her silver hair glimmered under the soft lights. "I was wrong to doubt you." Ryan shook his head. "I'm just doing my job. I have to keep you safe." Tala's violet eyes studied him carefully. "Do you really understand what you are up against? The city is not kind to humans. Many creatures would see you as weak. They might even try to hurt you just because you are small." Ryan took a deep breath. "I know, but size does not matter. Humans survive because we think, adapt, and act fast. I may be small, but I can move where others cannot. I can see opportunities that larger beings might miss." Tala's eyes widened slightly, impressed despite herself. Perhaps that is why humans survive longer than most would expect. Maybe size is not the only measure of strength. Ryan smiled faintly. Exactly. You'll see. Just then the building shook slightly, and a low rumble echoed from the streets below. Ryan froze. His instincts told him this was no ordinary noise. Tala stood alert, her body tense. Something is coming, she said. Ryan moved to the window and peered out. In the streets below, a group of armored creatures marched in formation. They were taller than any creature he had seen before, their armor glowing faintly, and they carried weapons that seemed dangerous even from a distance. They're looking for us, Ryan said. We need to leave now. Tala nodded. Good. Let us see if your human skills are as sharp as your words. They moved quickly through the corridors of the building, avoiding the main doors. Ryan noticed a maintenance ladder leading to a narrow sky bridge between two towers. He led Tala there, keeping low and careful. The city's lights stretched endlessly around them as they stepped onto the bridge, the wind rushing past with surprising strength. The armored creatures reached the building just moments later, their heavy footsteps echoing as they searched for any sign of the intruders. Ryan and Tala crouched low, waiting. Human, Tala whispered. How will we get past them? Ryan smiled faintly. Watch and learn. He scanned the bridge carefully. A small control panel was nearby, one that controlled the bridge's security gates. With a quick movement, he pressed a sequence of buttons he had memorized during his training. The bridge's lights flickered and a section of the railing opened, revealing a narrow escape path along the side of the tower. Tala's eyes widened. Clever human. You think fast, Ryan nodded. We need to move now. They slipped along the side of the tower, keeping close to the metal wall. Below, the armored creatures roared in frustration as they realized their target had vanished. Ryan's small size and agility allowed them to move silently and quickly, while Tala followed closely, her long strides covering the distance faster than anyone could expect. By the time they reached the other end of the sky bridge, the city lights reflected off Tala's hair, making it shine like silver fire. Ryan paused for a moment to catch his breath, realizing just how dangerous Zarnex could be. But despite the fear and the danger, he felt a sense of pride. He had protected Tala. He had outsmarted a group of powerful enemies. And he had proven, at least to himself, that humans could face challenges that seemed impossible. Tala looked at him, her eyes softening. You are small, human, but your courage is larger than most I have seen. Perhaps in size is not everything. Ryan allowed himself a small smile. Thank you, Tala, but we're not safe yet. This city has many surprises and we need to be ready for anything, she nodded. Then we will face them together. Let us see what the night brings. As they moved into the shadows of the next tower, Ryan felt something strange, a mixture of excitement and fear. He had entered Zarnex as a small, underestimated human, but with every challenge he was beginning to feel unstoppable. This city was dangerous, yes, but it was also the place where he could prove that humans were stronger, smarter and braver than anyone could imagine. And for Tala, who had once doubted him, that realization would change everything. The night in Zarnex was alive with movement. Hovercars glided silently above. Neon signs reflected in puddles of rain that had fallen earlier, and strange creatures moved through the streets. Some looking for trouble, others merely going about their business. Ryan and Tala kept to the shadows, their steps quiet, alert to every sound. This city never sleeps, Tala said, her voice low. Every corner hides something new. Every alley could be dangerous. Ryan nodded, his eyes scanning the surroundings. I know, but danger doesn't scare me. It just makes me more careful. Tala looked at him, a hint of a smile forming. Careful. Humans are clever, I will give you that. They had left the sky bridge behind and now moved through a network of narrow streets. Ryan led Tala past small shops and abandoned stalls, noticing every possible route for escape or hiding. His small size gave him an advantage. He could slip through spaces larger creatures would struggle to fit. Tala followed, her long strides easily keeping pace with him. Suddenly, a bright light flashed ahead. Ryan froze. A patrol drone hovered in the middle of the street, its sensors scanning everything below. The drone's red eye swept over them, and Ryan's heart raced. Being detected now would attract more attention, and the armored creatures from earlier could return at any moment. Human, Tala whispered. What will you do? Ryan scanned the area quickly. To the right, a pile of crates formed a small barrier. To the left, a narrow pipe ran along the wall of a building, just wide enough for him and Tala to crawl through. "Follow me," he said. "We'll use the pipe. It's narrow, but it will keep us out of sight." Tala hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Lead the way." Ryan went first, slipping into the pipe. Tala followed, her long silver hair brushing against the metal walls. Inside, it was dark and cramped, but Ryan felt safe. He knew every step mattered. Every movement could make the difference between escape and capture. After several tense minutes, they emerged behind a large building. The street ahead was quiet, and the lights of Zarnex glimmered like stars in the distance. Ryan let out a small sigh of relief. "That was close," he said quietly. Tala's eyes shone with admiration. "You are skilled, human. I have not seen many who can think so quickly in danger." Ryan smiled faintly. "I told you humans are clever. Size does not matter when you know how to use your mind." Their relief was short-lived. From the shadows ahead, a group of strange creatures appeared. Unlike the armored ones before, these were smaller, quicker, and moved silently. They had glowing eyes and sharp claws, and their intentions were clear. They were hunting. Ryan stepped in front of Tala, raising his energy shield. "Stay close. I've got this." The creatures circled them, testing for weakness. Ryan moved swiftly, blocking attacks and striking where he could. Tala watched him closely, noticing his strategy. He was not relying on brute strength. He was using intelligence, speed, and timing to outmaneuver creatures much larger and stronger than himself. One creature tried to jump over him to reach Tala, but Ryan anticipated the move. He sidestepped and tapped the creature's leg with his plasma baton. It stumbled, giving Tala the chance to create a small barrier around them, a shimmering field that pushed the creatures back. "Good thinking," Tala said, her voice filled with respect. "You are proving your worth, human." Ryan felt a surge of pride. He had not only protected Tala, but had done it with skill and intelligence. Every challenge he faced in Zarnex was teaching him more about the city, about danger, and about himself. The creatures hissed and retreated into the shadows, realizing they were no match for the clever human and the powerful alien princess. Tala looked at Ryan, her expression softening. "I doubted you at first, but I see now that humans can be strong in ways I did not expect. You are not just my bodyguard. You are a protector, a strategist, and a friend." Ryan's heart swelled with determination. This was what he had trained for. This was why he had come to Zarnex. He would continue to protect Tala, no matter what challenges awaited them. As they moved through the streets, the neon lights reflected in their eyes. Ryan realized something important. Being small did not make him weak. Being human did not make him ordinary. Every step, every decision, every action showed that humans could rise above expectations, and Zarnex would soon learn that lesson. The next day, Zarnex's city streets were quieter, but danger still lurked in every corner. Ryan and Tala had found a temporary safe place in an abandoned observation tower. From the top, they could see the city stretching endlessly, towers glowing, hovercars moving like fireflies, and distant lights flickering on the horizon. Tala leaned against the railing, her silver hair catching the sunlight. "You have done well so far, human," she said. "Most I thought would protect me would have failed by now." Ryan adjusted his shield and smiled faintly. "I'm just doing what I trained to do. There is still more to come, I know it." Tala studied him, her violet eyes sharp. "Indeed, Zarnex is full of surprises. Not all will be as easy as the creatures from last night." Ryan's heart quickened. He had been waiting for a challenge worthy of testing him fully. He sensed it now. Something large, something organized was moving in the city below. "Do you see that?" Ryan said, pointing. Tala followed his gaze and saw a formation of dark, armored vehicles moving silently across the streets. They were unlike anything Ryan had seen before, large, sleek, and heavily armed. He knew immediately these were not ordinary patrols. Someone powerful had sent them, and they were searching for Tala. "They are coming for you," Ryan said, his voice steady. "We need to be ready." Tala smiled faintly. "Then show me, human, how you handle this." Ryan studied the observation tower. It had several exits, but most were visible from the streets. His mind raced. He had to find a way to escape while keeping Tala safe. His size and agility gave him an advantage, but he needed a plan. "Follow me closely," he said. "We are going to use the maintenance shafts. They are narrow and hidden. Large vehicles and creatures cannot reach us there." Tala followed without hesitation. Ryan led her through the tower, past floors covered in old monitors and cables. They slipped into a maintenance shaft just as the first armored vehicles reached the tower below. The sound of heavy engines rumbled through the ground, shaking the walls slightly. Inside the shaft it was tight and dark, but Ryan's heart raced with excitement. This was his chance to prove that humans could outsmart even the strongest enemies. Tala moved silently beside him, trusting his lead completely now. As they crawled, Ryan noticed movement below through a small grate. Shadowy figures were coordinating near the vehicles, scanning for any sign of the princess. He whispered to Tala, "They are organized, more than the creatures before. We need to move fast and stay unseen." Tala nodded. "Your strategy is clever, human. I begin to understand why humans survive in difficult situations." The shaft twisted and turned, forcing them to move carefully. At one point, Ryan had to lift Tala over a narrow gap, using his small size to his advantage. He felt a surge of pride as she landed safely on the other side. Finally, they reached a hidden exit that led to a quiet street, far from the armored vehicles and shadowy figures. The sun reflected off the wet metal streets, and for a moment, it seemed as if Zarnax itself was holding its breath. "We made it," Ryan said quietly. "But they will keep coming. We must stay alert." Tala looked at him, her expression a mixture of admiration and respect. "You have done more than I expected. You are not just my protector, human. You are clever, brave, and strong in ways many cannot understand." Ryan smiled faintly. "Thank you, Tala. I will continue to protect you no matter what comes next." As they moved through the quiet streets, Ryan realized something important. Each challenge they faced together was teaching him more about strategy, speed, and courage. Each test was a chance to show that being small did not mean being weak, and being human did not mean being ordinary. Tala walked beside him, her trust in him growing with every step. She had doubted him at first, but now she knew that this small human could face the impossible, and even succeed where larger beings might fail. And in that moment, high above the glowing city of Zarnax, Ryan felt a certainty he had never felt before. Humans could rise above expectation, and with courage and intelligence, they could face any challenge the universe could throw at them. The city of Zarnax seemed calm at first, but Ryan knew better. Danger was never far away. From their hidden street, he and Tala could see the glow of approaching patrols. The armored vehicles from before had regrouped, moving faster now, and more of them appeared than he had first imagined. This was no ordinary pursuit. Someone important wanted Tala, and they would not stop easily. "We cannot stay here," Ryan said quietly. "They will find us if we do. We need a new plan." Tala's violet eyes scanned the streets. "Then lead the way, human. Show me how your mind works under pressure." Ryan felt a surge of determination. This was what he had been waiting for. The challenge was greater than anything he had faced in Zarnax so far. He studied the surrounding buildings, noting small alleys, maintenance pathways, and hidden doors. His small size gave him an advantage. He could move where the larger enemies could not. "Follow me closely," he said, gripping his energy shield tightly. "We are going to use the service tunnels beneath the city. They are narrow, but they will keep us out of sight." Tala nodded, trusting him completely. She moved beside him as they slipped into an entrance hidden behind a stack of crates. The tunnels were dark, damp, and twisting, but Ryan had memorized enough of the city layout to navigate them. Every turn, every passage was calculated to avoid patrols and traps. "Be careful," Tala said, her voice echoing softly. "If we are caught here, it may not be easy to escape." Ryan's green eyes glimmered in the dim light. "That's why we think ahead. We do not just react, we anticipate." As they moved deeper into the tunnels, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed above. The armored vehicles were scanning the streets, sending out small drones that flew near the tunnel entrances. Ryan paused at a narrow junction. He could see the patrols above through a grated section of the tunnel ceiling. "They are looking for us," he whispered. "We must move carefully. Timing is everything." Tala's eyes followed his gaze. "Your speed and intelligence are remarkable, human. I understand now why the Galactic Alliance chose you." Ryan smiled faintly. "It's not just me. It's all humans. We find ways to survive no matter the odds." He led Tala through a series of tight twists, using hidden passages and small ladders that only someone of his size could manage easily. They moved silently, avoiding detection until they reached a wider section of the tunnel where they could rest briefly. "Good work so far," Tala said. "You are proving yourself every step of the way. I begin to see that size is no measure of courage." Ryan nodded. Thank you. But this is only the beginning. The real test is yet to come. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed from the tunnel ahead. Small creatures, allies of the armored patrols, had discovered part of the passage. Their glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, and they hissed as they advanced. Rian positioned himself in front of Tala, raising his shield. Stay close. We can handle this. The creatures lunged, but Rian moved with precision. He blocked their attacks with the shield and struck with his plasma baton when openings appeared. Tala watched carefully, noting his strategy. He was not relying on strength, but on skill, timing, and cleverness. One creature tried to jump over his shield, aiming for Tala, but Rian anticipated it. He stepped aside and tapped the creature with a quick strike, sending it tumbling backward. Tala quickly formed a small barrier to protect them, forcing the rest of the creatures to retreat. You are remarkable, human, Tala said softly. I am beginning to understand the true power of your species. Not in size, but in courage and intelligence. Rian felt pride swell in his chest. Every challenge, every narrow escape, was proof that humans could succeed against impossible odds. He had protected Tala, outsmarted enemies, and remained calm when others might have panicked. As they moved deeper into the tunnels, Rian realized one thing clearly. Zarnex could throw anything at him and he would find a way. Humans were underestimated, but that made them even stronger. And with Tala by his side, he knew they could face every danger together. The tunnels beneath Zarnex twisted endlessly, and Rian and Tala moved cautiously, aware that danger could appear from any corner. The events of the past days had tested Rian's courage and skill, but he knew the most dangerous challenge was still ahead. The armored patrols were relentless, and their leader was clever, stronger than anyone he had faced before. We must reach the central district, Rian whispered as they moved through a narrow section of the tunnel. It's the safest place we can find right now. There are fewer enemies, and we can plan our next move. Tala nodded, her violet eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Then we will follow your lead, human. Show me your strength not in muscle, but in mind and courage. Rian felt a surge of determination. He had been underestimated his entire life for being small, and now in Zarnex he had the chance to prove that humans could rise above expectations. Every step mattered, every decision could mean survival. Suddenly the tunnel shook as if the ground itself had moved. Rian pressed himself against the wall, shielding Tala instinctively. They found us, he whispered. Get ready. From the darkness a massive creature emerged, taller and stronger than any Rian had encountered. Its skin was armored and its eyes glowed a deep red. It was the leader of the forces pursuing them, and it moved with surprising speed for its size. Tala's eyes narrowed. So this is the one in charge. Human, you must be clever now. Rian's hands tightened around his plasma baton. Stay behind me, he said. I will find a way. The creature lunged first, its massive arms swinging like wrecking machines. Rian dodged, rolling swiftly to the side. He struck at its legs with his baton, but it barely flinched. The creature roared, shaking the tunnel walls, sending small stones and debris falling around them. Tala stepped forward and raised her protective barrier, but Rian knew they could not rely on it alone. The creature was too strong. He needed a plan, and he needed it fast. He noticed a series of hanging cables above. A thought struck him. Tala, move slightly to the left, he shouted. Watch carefully. The creature lunged again, and Rian jumped, grabbing a thick cable. He swung himself forward, using momentum to kick off the tunnel wall. With a precise movement, he grabbed a loose panel on the ceiling and pulled it free, sending sparks down into the tunnel. The creature roared in surprise as the sparks and debris created a small barrier. Tala used the moment to advance, expanding her energy field to push the creature back further. Rian landed beside her, breathing hard but focused. He realized that being small allowed him to move quickly, think faster, and use the environment to his advantage. Now, Tala, he shouted. We need to force it into the side passage. Tala nodded, understanding immediately. She guided the creature with her barrier, blocking its path while Rian ran ahead, tapping a small mechanism on the wall. A hidden door opened to a side tunnel just wide enough for the creature to stumble through. The creature fell into the narrow space, stuck for a moment, and Rian quickly used the cables to tie a part of it, slowing it further. The leader roared, struggling but could not free itself easily. Rian and Tala moved past, breathing heavily but unscathed. For the first time, Rian felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. His intelligence, speed, and careful planning had turned a nearly impossible situation into a victory. Tala turned to him, her eyes shining with admiration. "You are extraordinary, human. I doubted you at first, but now I see the truth. Strength is not measured by size alone. Courage, strategy, and quick thinking are just as powerful." Rian smiled faintly. "I told you, Tala. Humans survive because we adapt and think. Size does not matter when your mind is sharp and your heart is brave." For the first time since arriving in Zarnex, Rian felt a sense of pride that went beyond survival. He had proven that humans could be clever, courageous, and unstoppable. And Tala, who had once doubted him, now trusted him completely. Together, they moved forward into the deeper tunnels, ready for whatever the city might throw at them next. The tunnels beneath Zarnex grew darker and narrower as Ryan and Tala moved deeper. The events of the past days had tested them in every way, but Ryan knew the ultimate challenge awaited them. Whoever had sent the armored leader was not finished. Danger still lurked, and the city was far from forgiving. "We are close to the central district," Ryan whispered, scanning the passage carefully. "It is safer there, and we can plan our next move." Tala nodded, her silver hair glimmering in the faint light. "I trust you, human. You have proven yourself in ways I did not expect." Rian felt a surge of determination. This final challenge would not only test his courage, but also his intelligence and strategy. He glanced at Tala, remembering how she had doubted him at first. Now she walked beside him with complete trust, and he would not let her down. As they approached a larger chamber in the tunnel, the ground trembled again. Shadows flickered on the walls, and a low, menacing hum filled the air. Ryan stopped and held up his hand. "Something big is coming. Be ready." From the darkness emerged a massive vehicle unlike any they had seen before. It was sleek, armored, and bristling with strange weapons. The leader of the armored forces was inside, controlling it. Ryan realized that this was the true test, one that required speed, intelligence, and courage all at once. Tala's violet eyes narrowed. "Human, we must act carefully." "There is no room for mistakes." Rian studied the chamber quickly. Small control panels were along the walls. Pipes ran across the ceiling, and weak spots in the vehicle's armor were visible. He knew they could not face it head-on. They had to use strategy. "Follow me," Ryan whispered. "We will use the environment. This chamber is our advantage." He led Tala along a narrow path near the walls, avoiding the direct path of the vehicle. The leader inside the armored machine fired bursts of energy, but Ryan moved swiftly, ducking behind pillars and using shadows to stay unseen. Tala followed closely, her energy barrier deflecting small attacks that came too close. Rian reached a weak point in the chamber wall, a section that seemed unstable. He tapped Tala on the shoulder. "Help me bring this down. If we can trap the vehicle here, we can force the leader to stop." Tala concentrated, her hands glowing as she expanded her energy field. Together they struck the wall with calculated force. Stones and debris fell, creating a barrier just as the vehicle rushed forward. The leader roared in frustration, realizing his path was blocked. Ryan's heart pounded. "Now, Tala, keep it busy while I disable the control panel." He ran to the panel and worked quickly, using his small hands and sharp mind to manipulate the buttons and wires. Sparks flew and alarms blared. The vehicle shuddered, then slowed, trapped by the collapsed wall and Ryan's quick thinking. Tala stepped forward, her barrier pushing against the vehicle with steady force. "You are clever, human," she said, her voice filled with respect. "I see now that intelligence is the greatest weapon." Ryan smiled faintly, wiping sweat from his brow. "It's not just me. It's humans. We survive because we adapt, we think, and we never give up." The leader inside the vehicle realized he had lost. With a final roar, the vehicle shut down, immobilized. Rian and Tala stepped back, breathing heavily but victorious. The city of Zarnex had tested them, and they had proven themselves. Tala looked at Ryan with admiration. "You were right, human. Size is not everything. Courage, intelligence, and quick thinking matter more. I doubted humans before, but now I see your true strength." Rian felt a warmth in his chest. He had protected Tala, outsmarted enemies far stronger than him, and shown that humans could rise above any challenge. "Thank you, Tala, but we did this together. Your courage and strength helped too." As they left the chamber, the city lights of Zarnex reflected off their faces. Ryan realized that being small did not mean being weak. Being human did not mean being ordinary. And with every challenge they faced together, he and Tala had grown stronger, smarter, and more united. For Tala, the lesson was clear. Humans were not to be underestimated. And for Rian, the journey through Zarnax had shown him that courage, intelligence, and determination could turn even the impossible into victory. Together, they stepped into the night, ready for whatever the universe might throw at them next. And this time they knew they could face anything, because humans could rise above expectation, and a clever human could protect even the most powerful of aliens. The city of Zarnax had met its match, and Rian had shown that size did not matter when the heart and mind were strong.